Hello fellow tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today I bring you Tier 9 French medium tank AMX 30. So I just recently got this tank, guys. I've started playing around with it, heard some positive and negative reviews about this tank. I really didn't know what to make of it. All I wanted was a regular French medium tank. I mean, most of the French medium tanks are autoloaders, and AMX 30 is the only option that's not autoloaded at this tier 9 and tier 10. So I've decided to grind up and get this tank to see what it's all about. Like I said, I watched some reviews on this tank. It seems like mobility on it is great, and obviously I can confirm the mobility on this tank is fantastic. Top speed is 65 kilometers an hour. It looks fantastic. The tank looks really good. I would compare it to kind of, with respect to the flat turret, I would compare it sort of to STB1. And from looks perspective, it's really good looking. I would rate STB1 as number 1, and this would be definitely my number 2. So the biggest concern for me with this tank is the ability to hit things. This tank has trouble hitting things, and I'm not sure why, because dispersion itself seems equivalent to other medium tanks at this class, so I'm not sure what it is. One thing I did notice that dispersion on the move is worse, so that could potentially attribute to the fact that can't really hit anything with this thing. Especially when I get to hit kill shots, guys. When I get to hit kill shots with this tank, it never goes in. I don't know why. I don't know if, there's conspiracy against space, or this tank doesn't want to hit things for me. I would compare its kind of gun accuracy to M46 Patton, believe it or not, or like STB1. Very similar to those two tanks, because in many cases you have shots fully aimed up and fully zoomed in, yet they miss, so I can't put a finger on it. Now, armor. Even though the turret is nice and flat once you poke over the ridge, and with -8 degrees of gun depression, that's what this tank should be doing pretty much. You should be playing as a ridge fighter. But even if your turret is slightly poking out and someone hits you on the cheeks, on top, they will pen it. I mean, it's got no armor. I think the turret armor is like 150 millimeters, but again, it's really nothing. So unless someone hits you in a manlet, like I mentioned, you're not gonna bounce much. So I found this tank really difficult to play. So like I said, I've played maybe about 30 games in it. That's about it. But it was really hard to get used to from the beginning. Especially the fact that it has no armor whatsoever. You gotta be really, really sneaky in this tank. But I would consider it a very high skill type of tank. So it's very challenging for me, so I decided to keep it, and I think I will keep it. I want to try to play it a little bit more and see if I can make anything out of this tank. Anyway, guys, so today I bring you games which I wasn't able to carry. So for a change, this time around, that's what I wanted to show it to you guys, and you tell me in the comment section whether this is something you want to see or not, because for the most part, when I'm picking games for you, I like to pick the ones that are pretty exciting, that usually end up in my wins. By the way, don't expect 9k damage in every game that I play. It's just not possible. But there are a lot of games that I can't carry, that I can't win. Even though my win rate in this tank, and I checked it, was about 60-something%, there are many games that I couldn't pull off. So the two that I'm showing you today are specifically such type of games, and I don't know if I had dumb teams when I was playing or what was going on, but it seemed like I had to do everything and my teams weren't doing nothing. I don't know. And honestly, I just found out playing this tank that this is not really a carry tank. Like I said, in order to carry games, you must have a little bit of armor, and if you're on an open map, I would assume, with this tank, because of the view range is pretty reasonable, you might be able to do something, but again, I don't consider this a carry tank, and you guys will see what happened in those games. So let's switch to the game quickly. Guys, look at the distribution of my team. What do you think? Isn't this fantastic? How is the red team allowed to basically march right through the middle of the field and nobody is doing anything about it? And I encountered this a lot in late games. Oh, look at this shot. See, that's the problem. Is the reload on this thing. It's way too slow. I'm expected to fire and yet I can't because the reload's so slow. But anyway, our team, basically half of our team camped at the base. And with 3 artilleries on the opposing team, how on earth do you camp your own base? It's just, you don't do that. And in late night games, this is what happens, guys. And this was probably one of my last games, because once I saw what was going on, I said to myself, you know what? Forget about it. This is nuts. I can't play in games like this. People just don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't know. I don't know if people consume too much alcohol or what's going on at night. And this was, I'm telling you guys, I can't remember exactly. I think it was like 12:30 or 1 a.m. game or something of that nature. But this was exactly what was happening. So you saw me miss a kill shot on the T30, and I specifically aimed at T30 because I had a shot at E75, but I decided not to shoot at him. I wanted to take one gun out of the game, and I wanted to take the biggest gun out. But either game or my gun said no, and the shell just goes somewhere. It doesn't hit. So get used to that. I don't know, maybe my crew is not good enough yet, although my crew does have, I think, 6 perks, 6 skills, and definitely both gun skills, so which would be firing on the move and the other one being a snapshot. So I don't really know. I mean, this gun should be already performing at optimal level, but it isn't. It misses a lot of shots. So look at the score, 5 to 9, 5 to 10. Well, usual in my games, quite usual. And the worst part is that we've lost one flank, we've lost middle of the map, yet our tanks on 1-2 lane, we actually won one flank, 1 and 2 lane, but the tanks on that lane decided to push further into the base instead of coming back here and helping us win. If those tanks came back, we could have potentially carried this game, but because they haven't, they're basically gonna get picked apart, because the opposing team has the middle of the map, and on this map, guys, you have to be aware, the middle of the map, if the middle of the map is taken, basically forget about pushing into the opposition base. You're just gonna get picked apart. It's best to turn around, come back, and try to fight out of this area. This area here is pretty good. There's a lot of cover here, there's some artillery cover, and there's area to defend the base from, so it's probably the best location. So we're nearing to the end of the game. Unfortunately, I took big shots from T30, the one that I didn't finish, that RNG told me no, which should have been dead. So he had a big gun, unfortunately, 800 alpha gun, so I basically took a big shot. Then I still tried to hang around there and fight with E75, but he fired on the move and hit me. Hit me on the move. So now basically I'm the last one left, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for a kill shot on this light tank. I didn't kill him, I rolled low, so at this point in time I thought to myself, you know what, there's no way I can pull this off. Kolobanovs maybe? Come on, what do you guys think? Can I do this? 1v8 with this tank that has 0 armor? I don't think that's possible. So I decided to run off, at least save my life, and at least lose with dignity. And that's exactly what I did. So we come to the end of the game, which I couldn't carry. Maybe if my team came back, maybe if they showed up and we had few guns in play, maybe we would be able to do something, but no, it wasn't possible. And just judging as to what my team did, I knew that wasn't going to be possible. So finished second on the team, Centurion 7-1, probably had a lot more spotting damage. I didn't have much spotting damage, mostly just regular damage. But that's all I could do in this game. Anyway, guys, let's skip to the next replay, which is going to be as fantastic as this one. So second game is on map Redshire Encounter mode with the top tier. It's a tier 9 game, but quite a few tier 9s on each side. And one thing I noticed about this tank, it gets pretty reasonably good matchmaking. And that's one of the reasons I decided to keep it, because it seems like quite often I'm getting into tier 9 games. So, you know, that's fantastic. I really don't want to be fighting tier 10s with this thing. Although, depending on the map, it can fight tier 10s as well. As long as the map is something big like this, where you can actually use your turret to your advantage, I mean your gun depression and your spotting ability, then it would work as well. But anyway, I'm gonna try to play with this tank a little bit more, see if I can get a little bit more damage out of it. Again, these are my first games, guys, so don't expect too much, but at least it gives you an idea of how this tank plays. So obviously I'm not gonna go into the brawling alley, which is at 0 line. That's out of the question for me. I'm a medium tank with very poor armor, so I should be hanging around the middle section over here. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to come closer. I see my E50 already in that pocket here at E3, which is pretty good for spotting. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna try to do the same thing as E50 did. I'm gonna try to poke out, see if I can spot any additional tanks, see if there are any shots over here. Very speculative shot over there. I wasn't expecting to hit anything, but hey, if you don't shoot, you don't hit anything, right? So I could see this Type 4 Heavy cutting across the field here. I have a shot on him. I take it. 400 damage roll. Pretty nice one. And now I'm spotted and targeted. So we're gonna drop a little bit here. And we're gonna... Basically, you could see our team pushing through the zero line there. And they're pushing pretty hard. So there's a bunch of targets for me. If I stick on this side of the hill and I don't get detected, I could basically use this area to shoot onto the tanks that are in G8. So remember this, guys, this is a pretty good position as long as you don't get spotted, because once you do get spotted, then you obviously have to fall back because you're gonna get shredded. But the mistake of our team on the zero line is such that there are tank destroyers in J7. And guys, you have to be aware of that. I mean, if you're pushing through that corridor over there onto the open area, be prepared to get shredded by people sitting in J7, J8. It will happen. And even though it seems we had the pretty good numbers over there, you guys will see what happens later on. So right now things look very comfortable. We're nicely winning this game. And I'm just gonna try to work the ridge here. Again, I'm gonna try to poke and take a few shots. I see a Conqueror passing through the open area. I took a shot at him. We chew some health off of him. And now this Bulldog. This Bulldog is gonna be a pain in the major ass. Because, first of all, Bulldogs are really hard to hit. Any light tanks are hard to hit, especially on a move. And with this gun, I have real trouble with light tanks because, like I said, the dispersion on this gun and dispersion on the move is so bad that it's really hard to hit light tanks when rotating, when moving. So yeah, I mean, with other tanks, like I said, like Centurions, like Pattons, it's usually not a problem. This tank, it is a problem. So I got shredded a few times by light tanks in the games that I've played. So be careful of that, guys. Stay away from light tanks. Although in here, I'm gonna challenge that Bulldog once again because it seems like my team doesn't really give a shit. So someone's gotta do the dirty work, right? So again, we're winning quite nicely. We're kind of holding this ridge here, which is good. And my team is holding the ridge. Not too bad. I switched to the compass here because I realized, okay, I'm gonna be doing probably most of the close quarter fighting. So may as well have compass on in case someone tries to jump me like this Bulldog tried earlier and take me out of the game. So I'm ready for it. Here I'm trying to line up the shot on this Bulldog again, like with this gun. Even if I aim it perfect, probably wouldn't be able to hit it. But you know what this Bulldog is doing. He's gonna come around and he's gonna go after our artillery. And I 100% expect that. And I have to be ready for it. So since no one is back there, I see there's only one tank destroyer and a heavy tank sitting in the back. There's not much protection for the for artillery, and artillery is so important on this map, guys. You have to protect your artillery because, like any open map, they play a vital role. So I can see here no one's really dropping, no one's paying attention to what's happening in the back. I know I'm taking a risk here, but because I'm using the mobility of this tank, I'm gonna just kind of wiggle, get out of the way. I want to get rid of that light tank, that little annoying light tank, so he doesn't take our artillery out. And I'm gonna misjudge this this gun performance here. So I put a big shell into him here. Now notice me, I'm not moving. I'm hoping my gun will reload before he goes behind that hill over there, but that wasn't the case, and unfortunately he will take our artillery out. And yeah, I'm completely PO'd over here. Like, man, we gotta take this dude out. So yeah, I'm going balls deep. I mean, not balls deep, I'm going behind here. I'm taking a risk, but I need to take him out. I mean, he's just been a pest. and we cannot let him just kind of drive around here and do whatever he wants. So we take him out. The score is tied now, and I was thinking to myself, it's cool, we got this. There's still lots of time. The game is tied. The team is holding up so far. I thought, you know, it'll be alright. But look what happens in a few minutes. So by the time I come up this ridge, we already lost 2 tanks. I'm looking at Type 4 Heavy. I'm like, man, that shot's not gonna go in. Boom! It goes in. I was so surprised. I can't hit nothing with this gun. All of a sudden I hit a cupola of Type 4 from like, I don't know, over 400 meters. It's just ridiculous. And that's what this game can do. All of a sudden we have only 4 tanks left. And what to do now? I mean, obviously I'm not going in where I was before, because that's a suicide. Basically, once I left, they picked our tanks apart. They picked everybody apart. So now all I have is those shots at T10. So I'm gonna try to snipe for a little bit, see if we can get him out of the game. And this happens all the time with this tank. Kill shot? What? Where did it go? I don't know. Went somewhere. Definitely not in the tank. Went somewhere else. So, yeah. That's what happens. And then here I fell back. I was thinking to myself, okay, if they keep coming one by one, we have a chance. Like this T-5041. He feels brave. He wants to go in on our tier 7. Okay, so be it. I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here. So I put 1 shell into him. And check this out, guys. And this is what pisses me off in this game. Look at that. Right between the tracks. Tell me, how does that track him? This should be a kill shot. I'm not firing heat. I'm firing APCR. In between the tracks. That should be a kill. And this game has been doing this all the time. Doesn't matter. Heat shells, no heat shells. And now imagine, this guy would have been dead already. I would have probably taken that Conqueror out. The tank that shoots me in the ass right now, he is 1 shot for me as well. Okay? And I come to this area and I see full health T30. And here is just frustration, guys. Just frustration. I just gave up. I really did. And you think Space Bandit never gives up. Well, I never give up for the most part. But in this case, I've had enough. I didn't want to burn my repair kit. You know, if I took the other 2 tanks before earlier, I could have handled this T30. I would have probably used my repair kit and went after him. Maybe it would have been possible to carry. But because of what happened with this critical there, completely threw me off. So there you go, guys. There are the games where Space cannot carry. I still ended up on top of the team with damage. And our team didn't do as much. Look, our email did 1800 damage. Look what our tier 9s did. That's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, guys, here's my encounter in AMX 30. Again, I would not recommend it to new players, to more experienced players. Maybe you'll find it interesting, like I did. I found it interesting. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna try to get better in it and see if I can pull better games in it. My target right now is 5K. Let's see if I can get there. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance yet, go and check out Clone Guy 72's channel and Gata Dingy's channel. They have fantastic content. Again, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you would like to see more games like this. I don't know if they're beneficial to you guys, so please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy tanking. Until next time, Space Bandit checking out.